Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melina and I do typically make cash stuffing content on my channel, but this video is going to be the very first vlog Q&A that I've ever done. I know I promised this to you guys back in November, but I thought it'd be so much fun to do it in December. So here we are, and where am I? So this is actually my mom and dad's house. So if there's a little bit of an echo, we're not gonna worry about it. They actually have a lot of stuff in here, but it's just a big home, so things tend to echo. So we're here in this cute little like nook next to a window with my little snow me, and we are gonna do this Q&A. So before we get started, I do want to preface, I had to write down all the questions because how I film is on my phone. So I wrote down all of y'all's questions back in November, as well as I recently asked for one just a couple days ago. So I got, how many do I have here? 16, 17, 18, 19. I actually have 20 questions, so that's really good. I love to have 20. I'm gonna do my best to answer them all, but I don't want this to be like a 2-hour Q&A. So to start off, I do want to give you guys a little bit about myself because there have been so many new faces here and so many new subscribers over the past few months. So I just want to give a huge thank you to everybody here who is supportive, loves the channel, you're subscribed, like, share. Thank you so much. So let's start off with a little bit about me. So my name is Melina, hi, and I am a mom to 2 boys, Mason and Madden, and I have been married for almost 10 years. We celebrate our 10-year anniversary next year. And when did I begin cash stuffing? Because that's what this whole channel is about. So I started cash stuffing with my family, my husband, back in October of 23, and we just were doing it at home. Like, we needed a change. And so it was not hard to get him on board. I think that's one of the questions here, and I'll dive deeper into that. But we had a few goals that we wanted to do, just even being in October and planning for the next year and how we wanted our financial situation to change. So when I was researching, we were in a mound of debt and we were trying to figure out how to get out of that. So 2 things popped up. One thing being cash stuffing, and 2, a process within my 2 other businesses. My processing system that I use is through Square, and they offered me a loan that would pay off the credit card debt that was at like 28%. I know that sounds crazy, but 28% interest. We just were never paying it down. But Square, knowing how many transactions I run and how diverse they were, said, I will give you everything you need to pay off that credit card, and then it costs like $1,200 for the loan, and then every single transaction I would run for the next almost year would they would automatically take 19% out of every single transaction to pay off the loan. So it was out of sight, out of mind, no stress on me and my husband. What we had, you know, at the end of the week with my services is what we had, and it just was what it was, and we just worked harder. So I am happy to say that because of all of that, in October of 22, we actually paid off that debt in 11 months this year, September. So we're so excited. And then the other thing was actually finding other cash stuffers here on YouTube. So the very first person I absolutely fell in love with was Desiree over at Happy to Plan. If she's watching, hi, you inspired us to really just start this process, because I'm a planner girly and she also actually has a lot of planning content but does cash stuff too, and that's where it all came to light. So since that question about, let me just find it here, and then I'll also mark it off because just to make sure. Yes, so how did I get my husband on board? Honestly, it wasn't hard, like I said. We both felt the strain of everything that was going on, so it wasn't hard to convince him. And a lot of the things, honestly, that I do, or the ideas that I have, because I'm an entrepreneur at heart, he just listens to what I have an idea of and he fully supports it. He's just like, where do you need me? How can I help you? That's just my husband. So it was not hard to get him on board, and we're gonna check mark that question off. I do want to answer some of the personal ones first before we go into all of like the business ones. I did get asked if I have lip filler, so I do. And I love it. Thank you for asking that question. Let's see, what was the final straw for you to start cracking down on your finances? So that was actually just answered at the very beginning. I think I was jumping the gun here. And see, it's like I already know my story so well, and this was a question too. Who inspired you to start cash stuffing? And that was Desiree over at Happy to Plan. She is such a sweetheart. Like, I've only gotten to speak with her like a few times, and I absolutely adore her. Yes. Let's see, what else do we have? What did I vlog about before, and what got you to change? So 2017, I was vlogging as a mama. Did I say 2017? Hopefully I did. But in 2017, I was about to become a mom, and I didn't see a whole lot of mom things. I did see a few women doing it, but I wanted to give my own experience. So started off with Instagram, sharing my journey as a first-time mom and with my oldest Mason, and it just took off. So my personal Instagram is how that grew so fast. And then leading up to having my second son, I decided that it just was not my calling. That sort of thing, the dedication that you need, not my calling. So I let that go, but that was the type of vlogging and Instagram content and photos and all of that stuff happened first, and then I just stepped away and stepped heavily into the service industry with my brow and lash business, and then also my luxury piercing business. Here's another personal question. How did you meet your hubby? So it's really short and sweet. We met at our very first job at Target in Owasso, Oklahoma, and it's just been us ever since. So really easy. To get specific about it, we actually met, we'll see. The real backstory is that I knew about him probably about 4 weeks before he ever knew who I was, because I didn't work the weekends and he did, and he was like the cart attendant. And where do you go when you're a teenager and you're not working? You go and hang out with your friends at work. It's so weird. So me and one of my friends who also worked at Target, we're up there, driving up there on a Friday, and I just see him pushing the carts, and I was like, oh my gosh, who is that? And then my friend was just like, oh, that's Dalton, and da-da-da-da. So we would go up every weekend until finally around, I think it was November, we had a shift together and we started chatting and texting, and then he asked me to be his girlfriend on Christmas Eve. So we are about to celebrate 15 years together, like in total. So crazy. And we have never broken up. Just a little extra there. We've never broken up. So 15 years. Okay, so that is how I met him. Oh, this is so funny. I put the number 9 here and I didn't write anything there. So I guess we have 19 questions. Okay, so that was a personal one. What would you do with your first million as a mom who owns 3 businesses? Honestly, that is a dream. First million. I don't even know if I'll ever get there. That would be so crazy and so cool to think about. I don't know. I would just want to take care of my family. That's what I will want to do, seriously. So that's the best that I can answer that one. And I think that one comes from Theo, maybe. I have a really good memory, so I think so. How do you balance your personal and work life? That is a really good question. I don't know, I just do it. I think that we have some really good things in place for it to make it easier on both me and my husband to give like balance to every area. I'll just give you guys like a little bit of my schedule. Maybe that'll kind of like make sense. So I would say Monday through Friday, both of my kids are in school. Mason is in elementary. Madden is in a early childhood learning school, and so he's getting fully prepped for kindergarten, and he is there from about 7 a.m. until 5:30ish, just depends. And then Mason is in 2nd grade and he's there, you know, until 3 p.m., but he does have an after school kids program. Honestly, my kid loves it, so he doesn't want to be picked up right away. So Monday through Friday, me and my husband are able to get a lot of our business things done. My husband actually works in a office, but he does work a little bit remote, and he is there Monday through Friday, 7 to 4 p.m. So he has an earlier off time, which allows for working overtime if he really wanted to. And then, and then my schedule at my lash and brow business and piercing business, for me personally, I'm there Tuesday through Friday. My piercer is there her days during the week and Saturday and Sunday. And my during the week schedule, this is a lot. My during the week schedule, I am off by usually 5, sometimes 7. It just depends who all I take on. And in between my day, I will have 30 minutes here. I take an hour lunch, 15 minutes there, and I bring my tablet and all of my things to work. So if I am up there, which is 15 minutes away from my home, I am doing something. I am editing a new reel. I am editing a video. I am uploading videos because I pay that guy rent for Wi-Fi. So I'm gonna upload on his Wi-Fi. I just know how to time management, like I guess with what I'm given. And then in the evenings, it's all about picking up the kids, getting them home, doing our routine, you know, eat, bath, bed, book, all the things. And they are in bed by 7:30. After that, me and my husband continue to work. And to some, that's not ideal, but we enjoy what we're doing and he fully helps me. So all of the products that I make, he's helping cut, corner, print, laminate. I'm doing that. I'm handling customer, you know, inquiries, and packing the orders and creating the videos. So it's just a full circuit thing. I feel like that question's really loaded now that I'm here answering it. So that's how I balance it. Saturdays and Sundays, like full day Saturday, full day Sunday, is family days. We're either running errands, grocery shopping, hanging out with our family, doing the activities during Christmas on the weekends, and then only in the evenings when we're home will we work on business things. So I hope that answers that question. Oh, this is my first time doing this in a while, so I'm sorry if I'm just rambling on, but yeah, so that is how we balance. Are there any other personal questions? Oh, here's one. What's your favorite thing to do in your spare time? Spare time, honestly, is doing things with my boys. I love taking them to the skate park. I love taking them to the park. I love all of my oldest, like, sports and stuff. Like, is that spare time? I don't know, but I really love just being involved with my kids. And then also, I guess, like, true spare time, I like to watch Netflix. Who doesn't? So that is that one. I really want to get back into reading, and I have a really good, I've got a Kindle to do that. My sister's a heavy reader, but I just don't read as well or as often as she does. So I guess I sort of read, but yeah, that answers that question. And then let's see, what else do we have here? It's only been 14 minutes to this point, so I think we're doing pretty good here. I did answer how I got into cash stuffing. What inspired me to start my first business? So my first business is Brow House, Texas. I claim it to be, you know, I meant to say grab a snack. If you didn't grab a snack, pause this and go grab a snack, because goldfish life. Okay? Okay, but back to what inspired me to start my first business. So I knew that I wanted to be in the cosmetology industry whenever I was in the middle of high school. I graduated high school with my cosmetology license and my diploma at the same time. So that was pretty cool. 2010. I immediately stepped into hair, and I feel like whenever you're doing that, that's how the business like starts. So I thought hair was going to be my calling. It wasn't. I ended up not loving it. I love my own hair. I love taking care of my hair, but taking care of other people's hair just was not my calling. And maybe like I'd step into it again because I have a friend who I just love her and I would totally like be her assistant. But I don't know if I want to do that. So, but I fell out of love with it. So 2012, one of my friends told me about lashing and I thought that was so, so cool. So I did take a course, but did not like know where to start. And so I started taking clients, and I can't really give you the specific dates of that, but I know I took a few people in Oklahoma before leaving and coming out here, but out here is Texas. But essentially I had to start over whenever I moved to Texas, which was just to follow my family. So I had to build my books from the ground up, but I knew that there could be a lot of money in the service industry. And so I think that's what motivated me to start my first business, because I wanted that one-on-one interaction with somebody and then the immediate gratification of the beauty service I was providing. So the extensions, lash extensions, or the lash lift, or my brow services that I do, I was just really excited about it and I love seeing the results. So I think that's what started or inspired me to start my first business. Also, I just never enjoyed working for anybody else, to be quite frank. Like every single time in my history of working for someone else, now don't get me wrong, I loved my job at Target. Like I would totally work there during the holiday. Like Target just has it down. They're good to their people and you can actually make a lot of money now there. So I would probably do that if ever I needed to in the future, but I don't think I will. And it just, every job after that, it was like you'd be promised something or promised like another position, or for instance, and I'm just gonna name drop, Kendra Scott is a joke, joke of a business company. I was literally time and time and time and time again would be told that I would, I would be getting said position, at the next review, but they would never give me a reason why they weren't giving it to me. They would bring in a new associate that would sometimes be 3 years younger than me, like right out of high school or something, and they would be hired into the role that I wanted and was told I'd get. So it was just weird. So bad taste in my mouth there, and that kind of happened at a bunch of jobs. So I was like, why am I working so hard to never get those things? Why don't I just work really hard for myself? And that's what I did, and here we are. So that is my answer for that one. Do you use a specific CRM system to run your business? And yes, I use Square. I think that answers your question. I had to kind of look that one up because I had never heard of it that way, but I do use Square. And then I think this is the last personal question. There were a lot of personal questions. So, do you get Sunday scaries? And this one comes from Angie because I had to talk to her about this one yesterday. So Angie, if you're watching, hi. But I didn't know what that was, and she explained it to me like, I don't know, it's the night before and you're kind of like dreading, worried about how Monday's gonna start for you and all of that. Well, I would say Monday, so I don't get Sunday scaries, I guess I get Monday scaries, because Monday night is when I'm prepping for all the clients I'm gonna see Tuesday, and sometimes you can just get really anxious. I know all of these women, but sometimes you're just like, oh, it's gonna be a very busy day and I wonder if everyone's gonna be in a good mood and like all the things, because we are essentially these people's therapists. Sometimes we hear everything, and not dogging on it, but we get, as a service provider, hair excuse me, anything beauty, trauma dumped. We get trauma dumped on, and that's okay because I want people to feel safe when they talk to me, but at the same time, you take all that home later, and then I just like give it all to my husband, and then he's like, wow, that was a lot. So not Sunday scaries, but definitely Monday scaries. Okay, and then let's go back to actual cash stuffing things, and let's see what's a good one to start. Okay, so what keeps you motivated to keep on cash stuffing? Honestly, the benefits of what it's already brought to our family. Staying on budget. If you don't have it in the envelope, you can't spend it. Knowing that you do actually have the cash, not just like betting on it. Because in the beginning, it's like we'd see it deposit and then we're just like, oh, we can do whatever we want. But money can just fly if you do it that way. So that definitely keeps me motivated, as well as this channel. Showing up every week, cash stuffing for y'all, is motivating for me. It also keeps us like consistent, and yeah, it's like the best method. So if you need to film yourself every week doing something that's going to help you with your finances, do it, okay? And that is why we started this, and I'm so thankful for it. Let's see, how did you come up with your budget? So coming up with my budget is kind of a hard one. My husband's income fully covers all of our household expenses, minus maybe like 50 to 100 bucks. My income from Brow House and Stud House, those fluctuate all the time. So I have to look at it weekly. I can't just know that our budget's going to be the same all the time. But luckily in our situation, I know that all of our household expenses are paid for. Everything that I make is literally to cover all the extras. That's grocery. I mean, they're necessities. They're high priority. So gas, groceries, I don't cover any bills. It's literally just the fun stuff and planning for future trips or the extras for the boys and their sports and college and things like that. Like my money is doing that. My husband's money does him, and my income is always changing. So it depends on the week. That's how I come up with my budget. It depends on the week. But that's not for everybody. Some of y'all are locked in, paid bi-weekly, same amount all the time. And so you have to go in and really see like your allotments of, and I see some cash stuffers do that. I can't think of one right now, but I know that there's somebody that does that. Like their income is the same every week or every 2 weeks. But if I think of it, I'll put them down in the description. Yeah, we'll do that. So that answers that one. Let's see what else we have. What tools would you recommend for a beginner cash stuffer? Beginner cash stuffer, I would recommend a single binder and 5 categories. That's what I would do. A single binder and 5 categories, depending on how you're stuffing. If you are stuffing for bills, you're gonna need more than that. You're planning for your rent, your electricity, your internet, if you have trash services, water. So right there is already 5 for bills. But then I would say go ahead and do another 5. Look at me with my hands. I would do another 5. So these are the 5 that would be more things that are important to you. So groceries, gas, and then the other 3 could be like your personal spending, something you enjoy, and an extra. So maybe 10 categories and a binder. You do not have to go out and buy the most expensive binder. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I use Moterms. I absolutely love them. They're actually high quality. What you are paying is actually validated whenever you have it in your hands. Take from that what you will. But I truly believe that when you are handling this binder, it's amazing. Now, I know that it comes at a very steep price. So I saved up monthly until I got all my binders. I would like save 20, 40, 60, 80. Like every week I was saving $20 to get another binder and another binder. So it took me, oh gosh, how many do I have? I've got a lot. So it probably took me all this last year, and you guys would probably see me add a new binder every time I did it. Now, there are tons of people in this community that sell reasonably priced binders, and I can name a couple actually right now. Cooper from PurelyBudgets and also Angie over at Angie's Finance. They both have come out with binders, and they are reasonably priced. I feel like there's other people out here, their pricing is insane to me, especially whenever I see what a landed price for a binder is. And if it's not even comparable to a Moterm, we got a problem. So I'll leave that there, but you do not have to get the most expensive one. If you want to invest in it, definitely do it. I swear by them. I swear by them so much that like I go back and forth on even coming out with my own. I think the only way I would come out with a set of binders by my brand, the Millennial Dollar, would be if I found a dupe. It would have to be a dupe of the motor, seriously. So yes, that is what I would recommend for a beginner cash stuffer. And then we've got, okay, so we've got 2 questions left. We're doing so good. I wanted to keep this under 30 minutes. We might be pushing 35. But let's see. Okay, this one was funny. I need to flout my snacks. Oh my gosh, and the topo, guys. If you've been catching me on Instagram Live, we have been having a blast over there. Okay. Topo Chico, favorite beverage, personal. And then we always have goldfish around because kids. So pop that. And this question: how do you deal with all the negativity from other small shops and YouTube channels? Honestly, I'm like, keep wasting your time, honey. I think that's how I deal with it. Because if you're wasting your time and the negativity, I'm just leveling up. I keep going and I keep going and I keep climbing. So it's like, that's how I deal with it. And the last question we have is a 3-tip situation. So top 3 tips when starting an Etsy shop small business. So I did write these out. 1 is be able to define your branding. Branding is huge. You have to be recognizable. You can't be like everybody. It needs to be personal to you, but also sort of makes sense with what you're doing. I think a lot of people on this platform use budget somewhere in their name, which is great. I actually think that's really great because, or dollar, or, you know, something along cash, okay? Because that's what we're doing and you need to be found that way. So define your branding. 2 is have a community established on a platform. So my community started here on YouTube, but I moved it, a lot of it over to Instagram as well. And to elaborate on community, I don't just mean like everybody who is here and supportive and in the comments. You also need a community of women and men who support you and you support them unapologetically, and that has been literally a godsend because I have made such great friends here, and we support each other so well that it's one of those things that like all the outside noise does not even affect us. We are here and we are thriving, and community is really important. So 2, having a community. And then my 3rd tip is that this does not happen overnight. To give you guys a little bit of feedback, because I know everybody is super pumped and super excited to start their own, and I definitely encourage you to when the time is right. But it is so important to first establish community, like I just mentioned. You have to have somewhere that is established. People know who you are. They know your brand. They know what you have to offer and what you are using. You have to use what you are trying to sell as well as a Etsy shop and small business. If you only have, and I'm not dogging it, but if you only have a couple hundred people following you, it's going to be incredibly hard to encourage even just a percentage of that to help support your shop. And then another thing, just so you guys know a little bit of my background, I started cash stuffing first to see if I loved it and if it was, you know, beneficial for me and my family, because that's what my Etsy shop is. So did it work for us? Yes. Then I was like, you know what? Let's launch this in January. I'll do my first cash stuffing. Started my YouTube in January and did my very first cash stuffing. I did not even consider doing an Etsy shop until like I was 3 months in. I gave it 3 months. I wanted to see if people were interested in what I was doing, if they liked watching me if I was able to build that community, if it even made sense to pursue anything that could be an additional expense, because starting an Etsy shop is expensive. It's not cheap. For me personally, I started on $500. I wanted to see what I could do with $500. If I was able to sell all of that and make my money back, then we were in business if I still wanted to continue it. Because every time I step into something, it is, here's the amount I'm putting into my business. I need to make it back is the goal. And if I make it back, then I need to decide, am I going to continue or am I going to let it go? So that I'm never like losing money, right? So yes, that would be like my third tip. Make sure you love what you're doing, that you're able to have that community and build that community and have a community before you start an Etsy shop. I hope that makes sense. Oh, it's a lot. And okay guys, well, that is it for this Q&A. We are sitting at 35 minutes, about to be 36 minutes until I start the editing process. But I think this went really well. I was so excited to answer all of y'all's questions. And if you have not yet subscribed or are interested in starting your own cash stuffing journey and need some motivation or some help in understanding how to do it, go ahead and click this button or over here, because this is in reverse, so this is gonna be tricky. I think it might be over here, but this button or this button to subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.